Hello everyone, welcome to An Academy. I'm Prashasti Arora and you're joined with me for a very important topic, that is the Gulf Cooperation Council. We will discuss in detail about the cooperation. We will talk about the importance of the GCC. We will talk about the various challenges that are gripping the Gulf Cooperation Council, and in the end we will talk about the relationship that we have with this council. Now, a little about myself before we start the session. I've done journalism from Lady Shri Ram College and I enjoy delving deep into current affairs and current events. And also, you can follow me on my Unacademy profile to get the full series of my series of fundamentals of Indian polity. Also, I do my daily news analysis every day at 7 p.m. on the Core Savvy YouTube channel. So please do subscribe to that and have a look at the various playlists that are there for you. Now, also, you can avail a 10% discount by using the code PRAS10. Once you use this code for the subscription, you will get an additional 10% discount. Also, please follow me on my Telegram channel to get access to all the study material and, of course, all the important updates and updates regarding my schedule on this particular channel. This is my Telegram channel, so please do subscribe to the same. Now, let's start with the lesson. Very, very important. Let us understand the Gulf Cooperation Council in detail. Please remember that GCC members are the most important nations that are situated in the highly volatile West Asian region. Now, this is the region. Please remember these members. In fact, a lot of times it has been asked in the exam. So please be very, very careful of which members are there and which nations are, which are the six nations that constitute the Gulf Cooperation Council. Now, the six nations are Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, United Arab Emirates. Now, the six members of the GCC constitute some of the most advanced economies of the world and play a critical role in even India's national development. Now, the group has been supportive of India. They have refused to, party with Pakistan, and in fact have, refused to condemn India for its act of abrogating Article 370. Now, what we have to remember about this cooperation is that it was established in 1981 by six nations with its headquarters at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, what was the main purpose of establishing the GCC? The purpose was to promote cooperation in diverse areas such as economics, security, social life, and culture amongst these six nations. The grouping, of course, has come a long way from the purpose of just promoting cooperation. In fact, these six nations are so closely, geographically so close together that they have similar levels of socio-economic development, political cultures, and even religion. Now, in fact, their immediate goal in 1981 was to shield themselves from the effects of the Iran-Iraq war. Now, when did the war began? When did the war began? The war between Iran and Iraq began in 1980 when Iraq invaded Iran, and it ended in a stalemate in the year 1988 when the United Nations, brokered a ceasefire. So this was when, it was ended in 1988. So it went for 8 long years. Now, this just giving you a better understanding. This is the area. These are the, nations that are part of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Now, what exactly? Why is this council so important, and how much does it contribute? In different spheres. Now, starting with, it has 30% of the global oil reserves. Now, these six nations contribute to 30% of the global oil reserves. In fact, Saudi Arabia leads the list, and then it is followed by Kuwait and the UAE, United Arab Emirates. It has a combined gross domestic product of USD 1.6 trillion. In fact, Qatar has a sovereign fund which invests USD 338 billion around the world and is the 11th largest fund in the world. In fact, it also hosts many of the overseas American air bases and also military bases. Now, the region has the responsibility of satisfying the development needs of nations such as India, China, and Japan, and other nations such as the United States. Now, what exactly are the challenges that are gripping the Gulf Cooperation Council? The first one starting with much before coronavirus, the pandemic that hit the world, these nations were experiencing a situation of economic trap. Now, crude oil prices have fallen and have gotten into the negative zone, which is not favorable for these six nations, and this is due to the discovery of the shale gas in the United States and other parts, and the transition that is slowly taking place from crude oil to, of course, renewable energy sources. Also, following the coronavirus pandemic, tourism has been, of course, one of the major you know it one of the major areas that have dried up. And in that regard, many of the main which tourism was one of the mainstays of the economies in this region, and has dried up, which has led to a massive hit on their economies. According to many estimates, in fact, almost 12.1% of the UAE's total GDP, gross domestic product, is from the tourism sector. So you can imagine how badly these economies have been hit, A, because of the crude oil prices, and B, because of the pandemic that has hit the tourism sector the most. Now, also, there are various security challenges in the region, especially pertaining to terrorism and, of course, other conflicts and disputes. Now, talking about Iran, uh, uh, Iran and its various insurgent groups have also tried to gain influence in Syria, Yemen, and Libya, among other nations. In fact, it is also a critical controller of the Persian Gulf region. Now, its nuclear program is also being perceived as a threat to the nation. Then there is also the religious angle with this region, which follows the Sunni Islam, which is against Iran, which is Shia majority. In my previous lectures on Coursera, I've explained the Shia Sunni, problem, and like how one propagates, the fact that Prophet Muhammad is, the next. Should be the one who should take over, but of course there is conflict in that regard. Now, these are one of the major reasons, and in fact these reasons have been the primary mover behind the Abraham Accords, which has been signed with Israel and has been endorsed by the UAE and Bahrain. In fact, many other nations are also right now, of course, it's Israel, but let's see how that pans out. Now, a little before going ahead, a little about the Iconic subscription. If you still have the Unacademy subscription and you've not upgraded it from Plus to Iconic, please do that right away, because you're missing out on all of these benefits, ranging from being connected with a personal coach, to mains test series with evaluation, to study planner, which is customized according to your needs, and there is study booster sessions. Then you can also be part of the high intensity workshops. You can practice answer writing daily, and you can accelerate your preparation with daily content. In fact, the biggest discount of 2020 is finally here, the combo offer, which will offer you the plus subscription plus the optional one for 1 year at a 70,153 rupees, and the Iconic subscription plus optional for 1 year at 88,705 rupees. So put the code PRAS10 here, right here, and you will get an additional 10% discount. Now, if you've not, enrolled for the batch courses, these are the 6 months batch courses, or the first one being Ultimate GS 6 months batch course for prelims 2021, and Mission 2021 6 months batch course for UPSC CSE prelims. Now, this starts on 28th December. This is which is today, so please enroll for it right away. It will help you get your complete prelims syllabus coverage. There'll be top educators in these batches that will be teaching you. Then there will be prelims test series with analysis. there will be PDF study material, then there will be dedicated doubt clearing sessions, and there will also be interview preparations. So see what is best suited, which batch is best suited for you, and enroll for the same. And do not sit over it. Also, now very very important, talking about India and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Two sides, of course, India and the council share a good equation with each other. Of course, fresh developments with the signing of the Abraham Accords and the increase in tensions with Iran is an area that is an irritant. Of course, please do have a look at my Abraham Accords explainer on the Corsevi YouTube channel. Now, the present crisis with Iran, or even the Gulf Cooperation Council's conflict with Yemen, India has, largely avoided commenting on it. In fact, it did initiate Operation Rehat in Yemen to rescue its diaspora in 2015. Now, presently, with its non-permanent membership at the United Nations Security Council, that it is all slated to take, that is all set, that India is all set to take place in 2021 January. India needs to play a more active role in transforming this region, and seeing what works best in India's national interest, because that is what diplomacy is all about. Now, the visit of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Oman, and also also saw the latter, Oman permitting India to use the dock, Duckton port located close to the Red Sea region, right? So this is also, one area of cooperation between the two nations. Now, in fact, India presently has joint exercises with with UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. India has over $100 billion trade with these six nations in the region. In fact, with respect to India's energy security, over 85% of its total energy requirements are imported, and the GCC nations cater to a little over half of these requirements. Now, while the news of crude oil prices should ideally be good for India, with with the balance of payments crisis situation that we have, its impact on the overall economy of the region will, impact India's fortunes, and that is a great cause of concern. So let's see how that is going to be handled by India. In fact, these nations have invested in many infrastructural projects in India in the space of renewable energy, affordable housing, and refineries. Now, India has over 5 million members of its diaspora working in the region, and the remittances play a critical role in sustaining the economies of many places in India. So, this was about India and the Gulf Cooperation Council. This is very, very important. We have to know this. Any question can be asked regarding this council. So, please be very, very careful when you're reading this. Now, just quick answer writing practice that you should do, for which I have provided the question. The question is: recent crash in crude oil prices, though is beneficial for India, will harm the interest of the Indian diaspora working in the Gulf Cooperation Council nations. Comment: this is for 15 marks, 250 words, GS paper 2. Please do, try and practice this question to get a better hang of it. So this was it from my side. Do have a look at my explainer on Abraham Accords, BRICS, and also the daily news analysis that I do every day on the Coursera channel. So please do have a look at that. This is it from my side. Get the subscription now. Apply the code PRAS10 and get an additional 10% discount. This is where you have to put the code. This is it from my side. Thank you for your time. See you next time.